Few events can be as rewarding and educational as having birds raise a new generation in a nest box in your very own backyard. I've been doing this for 12 years, and now it's easier than ever to document nesting birds and share the experience with friends and family, and even the world, even if it seems challenging. I'm testing out the new Green Backyard Ultimate Bird Box Long Range Wireless Camera Bundle. So if you want to put up a bird box with a camera in it and monitor it on your smartphone or broadcast it on YouTube, it's a pretty daunting task sometimes depending on your circumstances. And this particular kit is designed for those complex cases, in this case Wi-Fi up to 600 feet away. And there's a number of issues with setting up a bird box camera, and I've been doing this for 12 years. Broadcasting live on YouTube really since 2012. So I can share some of my experiences and go over this exciting new camera, which makes it a lot easier. The Green Backyard has been doing this for a number of years. In fact, I've been using Green Backyard cameras for my live feed for about the last 4 or 5 years. And soon this year I'll be upgrading to newer cameras for the Owlbox broadcast. So let's dig into this because there's a lot of things to unpack and cover. And this is really a sort of a do-it-yourself project. I mean, there's some bird box cameras that I've tested that are kind of plug and play, simple in your backyard nearby where you can just look at them on your phone and share them with friends and family. But if you want something really robust, something that you're going to broadcast live, stream on YouTube or something like that, then you're talking about another level of complexity that you need to address. So this system comes with all the hardware that you need to broadcast live with a wireless network, Wi-Fi basically, from out to 600 feet. So it comes with this bird box, which is a nice bird box. It's cedar, and it's got a 1.5-inch entrance hole. And it's designed really for the vast majority of songbirds. It's a well-made and perfectly functional, really nice bird box. A little mesh screen at the bottom, cuts in it so that the birds can easily climb up and down. And it's got a little predator guard here made of metal, which will cut down on the squirrels chewing on it. The nest box comes with 4 different sizes of predator guards if you want to limit the nest box to smaller birds like chickadees or house wrens. The 1.5-inch hole is a pretty good general purpose predator guard. But if you wanted to limit it to just smaller birds, then you could go with the 1-inch predator guard. And you would want to stack those on there so that it makes it stronger and, even harder for any squirrels to gnaw on that. They're not going to be able to gnaw through metal, but if you stack the predator guards up, to limit them to whatever size you want, it'll be even stronger. Now, when you want to mount your nest box, if you're going to go to all the trouble of putting up a nest box and running a camera to it and all that entails, then you want to protect your nest box. In my case, I can't put nest boxes on a tree or anywhere where the squirrels, raccoons, or snakes can get to them. So you need squirrel or raccoon baffles, or you need to put it up. In my case, I like to put them up high on the eaves of the house where the squirrels and raccoons can't get them, and the snakes, which are really the biggest problem with nest boxes where I live in Florida, have a hard time getting up there. The little panel on the side is to allow extra light in to make it better quality video during the daytime. Sometimes in the daytime, depending on where your box is, you'll get shadow or shade, and it'll switch into IR mode even in the daytime, or if it stays in visible mode, it might be hard to see. That's not a problem with the camera, it's just the nature of limited light and the ability to get good pictures and video with the camera. So this is a nice feature. Ultimate bundle comes with this nest box, which is a nice nest box, but you can use this system on any nest box. And the nest, as far as the cost of it, the nest box is the least costly part of the whole undertaking. So you can buy this system with just camera hardware and use it on your own nest box, whether it be an owl nest box or whatever. We'll set the nest box aside for now. I'll do a quick system overview, and then we'll actually go through the process of installing it in the box and getting it to work. So the heart of the system is the new improved HD cameras that Green Backyard put out. I've been using the older version of this camera for 4 years on my nest boxes, and later this winter I'm going to upgrade the Owl Nest box with this new camera to get even better quality when I stream live here in a couple of months. So this is a camera with a Wi-Fi transmitter on it, and one of the reasons you're able to get over 600 feet is because it has an external antenna and a strong Wi-Fi transmitter. One of the challenges with a Nest box is, first off, you have to get power to it and you have to get data from it. Getting the data from it is real easy with the Wi-Fi transmitter, but you still have to get power to it. And you can run an extension cord, or if you have external power available at some remote site, you can use the power adapter. But the other thing that makes this system so versatile for even in really tough installation situations is it's a 12-volt camera system, so it can run off of a 12-volt motorcycle battery. So it comes with an included 12-volt adapter. And what you would do is get a motorcycle battery and run it from the battery to the camera, and you would have remote power. And you could get real fancy and hook up a solar power unit to keep the motorcycle battery charged. Now this is a little different than the typical, simple Wi-Fi camera that you might have in your backyard for looking at on your phone, because what you're going to do is you're going to be broadcasting Wi-Fi to your router, and you're going to want to put this, in some cases, some people might just want it for their own personal use, but if you're talking about streaming it on YouTube and, being committed to providing a live stream, and you need to really up your game. So the other option would be to have 2 motorcycle batteries and then swap them out about every 4 days or so when the batteries run low. So this is what gives you the option for remote power. Now the other way to do it with an entirely different camera, that's the way I'm going to do it with my Owlbox, is what they call power over internet, where you run an Ethernet cable from your router directly to the camera, and then that Ethernet cable carries the data and provides the power. And that can only usually be used on over a short distance. It can't be used on distances on the order of 500 or 600 feet. I mean, it could be, but there's all sorts of issues there. So one of the first things you got to think about if you're really serious about broadcasting from a bird nest box, where you're going to put it, how you're going to protect it, and then how you're going to run power and data to it. So what we're going to talk about today is one of the things that simplifies the matter is using Wi-Fi on your router. Then all you have to do is decide how you want to power it. And if you're going to be around and it's not that big of a problem, running it with 2 motorcycle batteries, you can buy motorcycle batteries on Amazon, and I'll provide a link. They're not particularly expensive. They don't have to be, super high watt batteries. And you run it with this cable, and you can keep one charged and swap them out every 4 or 5 days. Or you can go the solar option. Now, one thing about the people at the Green Backyard, they have a lot of experience, and so they can be a good resource. In fact, they're working on a solar option for this that'll be ready to go. But right now, if you want to do a solar option, but I would first talk to the people at Green Backyard, because they're very close to having a solar powered solution for this, which will make it even simpler. But again, when it's solar power, if you're going to broadcast on YouTube and you're going to commit to a broadcast, then you need to have a backup. So you're still going to want some sort of dedicated power besides depending entirely on solar to keep everything charged. So I don't want to dwell too much in the background of it, but that's really what it takes. It's not a simple endeavor to set up a remote nest box and broadcast it live on the internet. So we've gone over the camera. It's a nice new improved camera with a higher quality, higher bit rate, and a little wider angle of view, so you're going to get a much better view inside the nest box. So the camera is going to broadcast the Wi-Fi signal, and then inside the house near your router, you're going to have the Wi-Fi receiver, and it has a special QR code. You're going to use that when you add this to your home network, and also when you connect to the app in your phone that lets you control this. And so this usually will just plug into house power, and there's an adapter right here. And both the Wi-Fi receiver and the camera and Wi-Fi transmitter have external reset buttons, which is really nice if you have to reset the system, because then you can do that externally. You don't have to disrupt the birds. So you take this and you connect it from here to your router. And there's no recurring data costs involved with this, because you're running off your own Wi-Fi router. This is an IP camera system, and that's what allows you to use that IP address to be able to take that signal from your router and broadcast it live to the world on the internet. And I use that all the time, and I'll show you how I do that at the very end of the process. First thing you want to do before you run any cable or anything like that, go through the process of adding the Wi-Fi receiver to your home Wi-Fi network, installing the app, getting this thing registered on the app, and getting the camera connecting with the receiver and getting everything working while everything's open. And then once you get everything working, then we can start the installation process. So I'm going to go ahead now and hook everything up to the home Wi-Fi system and make sure it's working, get the app up and running, and show you that. And then we'll go on to the next step. Now I have the Wi-Fi receiver that attaches to your home Wi-Fi router in a temporary location here next to the router. And you can see down here it plugs in to the Ethernet going to the router, and you got your red power indication and your green signal indication. So everything's working. There's hardware inside you can use to mount this. In my case, I'll probably mount this on the wall of the cabinet near the Wi-Fi router. I was able to quickly connect the Wi-Fi receiver to the home Wi-Fi router, and I've got the Bird Box camera for now just plugged into house power. And what you do on your smartphone is you install the ICSee app and open it up, and then open up an account with your email and a password, and that's how you're going to interact with the camera system. And that's all real quick, and here is the result. Right here you can see I've got the camera right here live. And we're looking at the Bird Box, and of course we'll go over the app later, but right now the main thing is we've demonstrated it quickly and easily. You can get this system up and running in the house before you go further. The whole process took not even 5 minutes, and they've done all that hard work for you. So now all we got to do now is I'll go ahead and just show you how to mount the camera in the box, set it up and look at it on the app, and then in the final step I'll show you how to broadcast it on YouTube. Installing the camera in the Nest Box always takes a little bit of trial and error. For starters, I just marked the dead center of opening of the box on top and put the screw through the mounting bracket. Now I'll mount the camera and then make sure I got it right, and then we'll focus the camera before we take it out in the field. I've got the camera mounted. To adjust the focus, you very carefully remove this cover on the camera lens. And there's a picture of the camera exposed. So it has daytime lights that you can turn on, and also white lights that you can turn on at night once in a while for color. And then it also has IR lights. And then just move the focus slightly one way or the other until you find out which you're going the right way, and just make minor adjustments. Now one of the things you notice is it has a diffuser on here so that the lights and IR lights are not overpowering in the Nest Box. That's kind of nice. You want that diffuse light. You don't want overpowering light that'll make for bad photos and videos, but also disturb the birds. So we'll make just the slightest adjustment. So the new camera has a wider field of view and a greater depth of field, so it can really do a good job of staying focused through the depth of Nest Box. So what I did is I put a map down in the bottom and tested the focus and the color, and then raised the map up about 6 inches, which would be the top of the head of about the largest songbird that use it, and check the focus again. And everything's in real good focus. So we'll go ahead and close it up with the cover. The cover protects the lens from damage by the birds. So now we're ready to seal it up and permanently mount the camera and get ready to mount the Nest Box outside. Okay, we've got it pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and look at it in full screen here. Got it centered just about the way I like it, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and tighten the camera down. Okay, I've tightened the camera down hard, and we still have our alignment, so we're looking good. I've got the camera properly focused and positioned, and I've and sealed up the roof of the birdhouse. And then you run the Wi-Fi wire and the power wire out here through this little gap that they've provided. And you want to make sure it runs down and hangs below the Nest Box. If you put the wire up here, when it rains, the water running back into here and into the Nest Box. So you want to have a drip loop on it here like this. And the hardware is always top notch with these green backyard kits. So you have these, you want these on 2 strong holds to keep, because your power cord is going to be hanging down here. And depending on how you run the power and the battery, you might want to adjust this a little bit to give this more support. So now you have your power cord here, and you've got your Wi-Fi transmitter up here, and we're ready to mount the Nest Box. I have temporarily mounted the Nest Box out on the fence about 120 feet away from the router and through several walls, and it's working fine. There you can see the live view on the app, and I'll show you the app in more detail. One of the advantages of the Green Backyard Ultimate Bundle here is it can fit just about any circumstance, from running power to using batteries or using solar, and there's all sorts of different ways to mount it. So I'm not going to belabor the point of how to mount it, but just show you how it works, and realize that right now I'm running temporary power to it with an extension cord, a 100-foot extension cord from my outbuilding, and it works fine. So yeah, you have to think about how you're going to mount it and where you're going to mount it. Now I'm just putting it up here temporarily because I'm going to wait about a month until I decide where I want to put this Nest Box permanently. And the people at Green Backyard can help you out with some more details. I'm going to show you generally how everything works, and it's pretty much the same for all Nest Boxes, but I'm not going to provide customer support on how to set it up, but I will show you how the app works, and then how I got it to broadcast live on YouTube rather easily. The squirrels can't leave anything alone. They have to check everything out on their fence. What's up, guys? Now I will tell you, if you have a possibility of getting squirrels at your nest box after you've gone all the trouble to run power and cables and everything to it, they will chew things up. So I would definitely protect your nest box from squirrels. Put up on a post with a squirrel baffle, either, and I'll put a couple of links to squirrel baffles in the description, or high up on the eave of a house, which I'll probably do with my nest boxes again. In which case the squirrels and even the snakes can't get at them at that height. But yeah, the squirrels will make a mess out of your nest box. It's not uncommon for a squirrel just to bite through a power cable or a data cable just because they can. You know, I like squirrels, but you have to treat them like the wild animals they are, and if you don't want them messing with anything, then you have to exclude them from it. So it's a real nice bundle. The hardware is really nice. I've been using the green backyard cameras, the older version of the cameras, for 4 or 5 years to broadcast live from the owl box and the woodpecker box. So I'm looking forward to using this next generation of cameras. I'll just go over the app briefly. Here I have the live view of the bird, the little fake bird that I have in the nest box on the fence that I just showed you. And I have it in full HD. Which of course is going to use more data and slow it down a little bit, but obviously full HD is the asset and it works fine. You can go back to SD. You can take a picture, and video are shared on your phone's database. You don't have to buy cloud storage, but you can get it if you want to. And you can share little pictures and videos directly to email or whatever. And you can turn the sound off and on and the microphone off and on to actually talk through the camera inside the nest box. The other thing that's nice is it has a light in it. And I'm going to turn that on. I mean, you wouldn't want to run it all the time, but remember it's a nice diffuse light, so it's not going to be harsh or glary on the birds or glary on your pictures or videos. It's going to look kind of nice. So here it's getting dark outside, but it's not dark enough that the IR lights have come on, so I just showed you how that works. That's kind of a nice feature. You can use it as you need it. Let me go ahead and turn that off. And again, this box is about 120 feet away. I have it temporarily on the fence. It'll be about a month before I decide exactly where I'm going to put it. And each installation is going to be unique. That's what's so nice about the flexibility of the hardware that comes with this comprehensive nest box, extreme Wi-Fi connection kit. And you can share this app with friends and family, and they can watch your nest box. This is much more powerful now. You can actually, broadcast live on YouTube. And it comes with a nice desktop software system that I'll show you how that works. And that's what you would use if you want to really, roll up your sleeves and get into the details of the data transmission and all sorts of the Wi-Fi capabilities with the IP addresses. And there's instructions included with the nest box for downloading and installing the VMS software, which allows you to look at your video stream on your desktop. And this is really important when it comes time to get your IP address and try encoder to broadcast out on the internet live. You have your camera all set up, connected to your Wi-Fi network. When you install the VMS program and turn it on, it'll automatically connect to the camera, and you'll give you your IP address and do a number of things with it. But mainly for me, it's just to get the IP address and to make adjustments to the camera. You can adjust the brightness, the hue, the contrast, and the saturation. Get your IP address, and then from that you can move on to the next step, which is getting your feed to show up in OBS Studio instead of using the VMS app once you get it figured out. Then you would just record it through your stream. Here is the live Wi-Fi feed from the Green Backyard IP addressable nest box camera, being processed by free OBS Studio software designed for efficiently capturing, compositing, encoding, recording, and streaming video content. Then you simply input your streaming information from YouTube into OBS and start streaming. Here's the actual live feed from the nest box on my YouTube Studio live broadcast page, set to unlisted for testing. From there, it's just a simple matter to start a live broadcast. My final advice is that while it may be easier to stream Wi-Fi, you need a very strong and reliable Wi-Fi data service with high data rates to successfully stream live with OBS. Power over Ethernet using PoE Green Backyard camera systems, like I use on my Owlbox, this is another option to consider if you're really serious about live streaming. and I'll put links to those in the description. This complete bundled long-range Wi-Fi kit is excellent for watching the wonders of a bird family being raised in your backyard. You want to get the nest box up several months before nesting season and get it all checked out and operating as I've demonstrated. And then if you're blessed with nesting birds, you'll be hooked for life.